been about a month since my last vlog, and if you look back from the last vlog and compare it to this one, you can really see a really big difference between my drawing. I've gotten a lot done since then. I'll put a side-by-side picture. There were a lot of late nights, and I realized that I was really a night person, and I've tried being a morning person before, you know, waking up really early, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and being productive, doing stuff, but I just end up getting super tired, and then the rest of the day just kind of goes all downhill from then. Whereas at night, you know, like past 11 p.m. to like 1, 2, 3 a.m., I'm super productive. I think it's because of the amount of distractions that's around me. Also, for some reason, the sunlight. It's really easy for me to focus when there's, you know, no distractions, no sounds, no light around me. So yeah, I got a big portion of my drawing done. It might not look like a lot to you, but for me, like a lot of the textures were really unknown to me, so it took me a little while to figure out how to get it right. There were a lot of layers, a lot of putting down stuff, erasing them, brushing over them, putting the more layers down. So I'm extremely proud of my progress for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. So kind of going in closer and looking at what I've done, this skin area between the eye and the eyebrows is my most recent completed thing. And I don't think it necessarily looks like skin yet because there's, you know, some particles or some skin textures that's not necessarily completed, but I think it's getting there. And also because on my reference photo, it's really dark, so it's really hard to see all the tiny details, so I have to like Google images and find like reference pictures on how it's supposed to look and kind of use my imagination to kind of know where the shades and where the highlights are. So it looks realistic, but also it looks like it makes sense on the drawing as well. So that's actually a challenge in itself. And then there's this area of texture right here. It might not look like a lot from far away, but this actually took me a really, really long time to do, just because for these textures that I really like to do, I leave either a part blank or I do a really light shade of graphite down, and then it would take me a really long time to carve out all these little individual holes and textures to make it kind of 3D-ish. So that's definitely a process in itself. And then there's this area right here, especially these 3 textures that I'm super proud of, because I remember in the photos I used white chocolate syrup to drip on myself when I'm making this photo. So it was kind of a challenge making something like shine and something reflect, something look like liquid amongst all these skin texture and these solid textures, really with a lot of details, and then this being on top of it all. But I'm super proud of how it came out. And sometimes I have to say, I don't know how relatable this might be for some people, but especially working on these really large drawings where I'm getting really close all the time, you know, my nose is like 5 inches from my drawing. After a really long time of drawing, it feels really refreshing to stand up and then stand back a little bit to look at your drawing and see how much you've completed. It's one of the best feelings in the world for me, because up close, especially after a while, everything kind of blends together and you're just focused on the little tiny stuff. But once you stand back a little bit and kind of look at the full piece, your mindset kind of changes and you get to see the full picture instead of like tiny little areas, which people can appreciate after it's completed and then they walk up close, which is something that I love to do with like drawings in museums and stuff. And I remember one of the earliest lessons that my drawing teachers taught me was to always stand back and look at your drawings, especially when it comes to like life drawing. And just a couple days ago, I had to stand back and then kind of darken and lighten some areas of the drawing to make it look better as an overall, instead of having it look really good up close. Like this area I darkened, this area I lightened, and it just makes the whole picture look more united and more cohesive. And as kind of an upcoming schedule for the drawing, I want to get this part done in the next week or so, which might seem really difficult, or maybe next 2 weeks, because I do want to record a lot of the textures down here, which is a lot of like the dots that people overuse a little bit in their hyperrealism drawings, but I want to record that part. And then for the nose, I've planned like another ghost time lapse for that, so that will take an entire day to record. because I have to just set the camera up and then having to take photos like every 3 seconds or so and combine hundreds or thousands of photos into one video to get it correct. So that's going to be really difficult, but I'm also really excited for that. So hopefully by the end of March or the mid of April, I'll have this entire part done. So that's definitely going to speed up a lot of my drawing and make it look really nice, so I can start posting on my socials again. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I've actually recorded a lot less for these parts just because I really wanted to focus, and it took me back to a time when I didn't really have to record and just purely focus on my drawing, which was really nice. But at the same time, I think I always have this fear of missing out on showing some really cool parts that I can show the world. But at the end of the day, I think I'm an artist before I'm a content creator, so I think it just comes down to what feels right. And yeah, hopefully I'll get a lot done this week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.